With the shopping and consumerism culture, we have this notion that new equals good, and thrifted items aren't as widely accepted by society because they are old or dirty. As a result, most of the items that are no longer considered new or in style often end up in landfills, adding to the enormous amounts of trash to the environment. Why are we as a society driven to buy more for the sake of buying? According to the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Environmental Services, Oahu produces about 2.2 million tons of trash per year. The Environmental Protection Agency said that Americans produce 254 million tons of trash per year. In major world cities, 1.3 billion tons of waste is produced per year, and by 2025, the amount is expected to double. If you compare this to the amount of people on Earth, about 7.7 billion, the amount of waste that is produced globally is equivalent to about 1/7 of our total population. Think about how much trash that is. To fully get an understanding of exactly how much goes to waste, I decided to volunteer at the Assistance League of Hawaii Thrift Shop. They are a nonprofit organization founded in 1894 by Anne Banning and Ada Edwards Laughlin. The Assistance League currently has 120 chapters and approximately 26,000 members in the United States, supporting the organization's mission, transforming the lives of children and adults through community programs. The Assistance League has 6 philanthropic programs in which they help the community: Operation School Bell, Operation Wildlife, Tutu Tutorial, We Care, Share, Outreach, and Thrift Shop. I sorted through the donations and determined what could be sold or not.
We have a program called Share, and so items that have been in our thrift shop that have not sold, so we would pass clothing along to the River of Life mission, and they will give that clothing to other people, to youth outreach, so that teens living on the street can come in and get toothpaste and soap and shampoo and so forth, all donated through our thrift shop to them.
It just almost gets passed down like a domino effect to keep it from having to go to the dump site.
In the past, I think people thought thrift stores were only for poor people. Some people just don't want to have something that's been owned by someone else. They want something brand new, so they prefer to go to Macy's and buy whatever it is. But I do think that perception changes, and a lot of people like the idea of a thrift shop having old items that are like antique items, unusual things that you wouldn't find in a regular retail store, so it has that element to it too.
The mentality of some people, just the idea of buying something at a thrift store, they think that, oh, I can't do that, I have something new and something different.
You're actually recycling, and as they say, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and we find that to be very true here.
From a functionalist perspective, the media plays a huge influence in hyperconsumerism, a term coined by Jean Baudrillard. According to Schaefer, hyperconsumerism is the practice of buying more than we need or want, and often more than we can afford under such circumstances. Because shopping has become a dominant ideology in our culture, having a surplus of certain things results to higher status in society. Many stores convince people to buy through positive sanctions, such as the point system. The more that consumers buy, the more points they accumulate, which they then use the points to get better deals when they shop. From a conflict perspective, the media is a dominant form of influence in society. It affects the way people think and perceive. Gatekeeping, according to Schaefer, is when a relatively small number of people in the media industry control what material eventually reaches the audience. This means that the industries that are in power can control what the general public can or cannot see. People are bombarded with clothing styles and trends, all while being kept from the truth that lies behind the clothing industry: sweatshop labor, unfair working conditions, and waste. From an interactionalist perspective, there are 20,000 commercials a year, which makes it hard to avoid them as we see them in our daily lives. Whether it displays the hottest sale on clothes or the newest fashion icon, these visuals are seared into our brains, so we have the tendency to want to buy more. Social capital is the collective benefit of social networks built on reciprocal trust, meaning that shopping has impacted people's behavior over time. Advertisement enforces these norms through TV or social media, and these subliminal messages and symbols makes their way into the minds of consumers. This subtle interaction between company and consumer is what drives people to keep shopping. On a microanalysis level, I've been making a conscious effort to be sustainable and more mindful about how my actions can impact the environment. I no longer feel the urge to stay with the latest fashion or trend. The clothes that I no longer need are donated rather than thrown away. On a meso level, recycling gently used items would help Hawaii to become a more eco-friendly community. Given that we're surrounded by water, it's especially important to conserve the resources that we have, as it's not readily accessible compared to other places. It would also help support local businesses such as thrift shops. On a macro analysis level, if people donated their clothes rather than throwing them away, this could have the potential to significantly reduce the amount of waste that we produce globally. It would give the clothes another chance for someone else to wear, rather than buying something new, which takes up resources to make. To conclude, overconsumption will continue to grow and be detrimental to the environment if people aren't educated and aware of the effects that it has. Media and advertising won't go away, but by being conscious of the waste that we produce, we can stop the planet from dying.